And we're live here on the Ango Show. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Ango. It is January 2nd, 2023. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by tonight. We're going to talk about WWE Raw. It just got off the air a few minutes ago. I appreciate everybody stopping by. If you guys could do me a favor and smash that like button for me, I'd greatly appreciate it. I hope everybody had a great, fun, safe new year. This is going to be a very good year for the Ango brand, the Ango show, the Ango videos. A lot of big things happening. But nonetheless, today we're talking about WWE Raw. Hopefully everybody's doing great. Shout out to everybody who's in the chat hanging out. Justin Kennington, I see you. Shout out to all the VIP members, supporting the channel and everything like that. If you guys aren't a member, definitely consider becoming one. I'd greatly appreciate it. We have some big goals and big dreams this year. So obviously your guys' support is definitely appreciated. But I don't want to do any more plugs. I want to talk about WWE. WWE Raw was okay tonight. It was solid. There was some really, really good stuff. There's some stuff that we're going to talk about in this video that I really want to focus on. But I do want to talk about something very interesting that's actually not wrestling related. If you guys watch football, Monday Night Football to be exact. So basically what happened, I was watching Monday Night Football next to WWE Raw. I have two screens, and that's typically what I do on Monday nights. I typically watch football, and then I also watch WWE at the same time. And typically I just kind of put Monday Night Football in the background, volume down, that type of thing. So if you don't watch football, you might not understand, but I actually took a little bit of time to stop watching WWE Raw tonight. Because if you're not familiar with football, then yeah, it's kind of hard to understand. But nonetheless, there's a player that plays for the Buffalo Bills. His name is Damar Hamlin. And during tonight's Monday Night Football game, he went for a tackle. Didn't look anything, out of the ordinary. He stood up after the tackle, and then he collapsed on the field. And while this was happening, it was a very, very scary injury. This man had to be... they had to give him CPR. There was a whole ordeal during this game. And obviously, for the right reason, the game was actually postponed. The NFL, after like an hour or so, they decided to postpone the game or something. But basically, what ended up happening here is that during the game, this player collapsed. He got rushed, to the hospital under an ambulance, and it's kind of like a life or death situation, basically. And when I was watching WWE Raw and I was watching this play out on Monday Night Football, it completely took my attention away from WWE. So at the time, I think it was Dexter Lumis versus Chad Gable. I honestly, I won't even lie, like I didn't pay attention to it whatsoever. After that, I feel like Raw, for the most part, was a blur. There was some stuff with Damage Control against Michin and Becky Lynch, and then basically I wasn't really paying attention to that either. Because I was just really focused on seeing what was going on with Damar Hamlin. And that was just like a very scary and very sad moment to watch on live TV. And that's probably the reason why tonight's Raw review is a little bit shorter than normal, truthfully, because I realistically didn't... There was a lot of stuff that I missed on Raw because a lot of my focus was on like just trying to see like this guy's going to be okay and stuff like that. So definitely scary, definitely sad. Obviously, thoughts and prayers, obviously. Hopefully everything goes well. It was definitely a very weird situation because I feel like a lot of people on social media and a lot of my friends who are watching wrestling who are also fans of football saw this go down, and they kind of they were kind of in the same boat as me. Like, at that moment in time, watching Damar Hamlin go through that situation, like, it's difficult, to watch anything else or pay attention to anything else. And, rightfully so, obviously. With WWE, I think this was even happening a little bit during the Usos 6-man tag match with Montez Ford and stuff. But, I think during this Raw, a lot of people's attention was taken away from Raw. And again, rightfully so. So I did miss a little bit of Raw. I honestly might go back on DVR or something a little bit later. But there was some stuff that I missed on Raw, and that's the reason for it. So again, thoughts, prayers, good positive energy to him and his family. Hopefully everything there is going the right way. There hasn't been that many updates and stuff, but basically what ended up happening was literally it got to the point where like the game was suspended, and then they finally made the decision to just end the game. So they'll figure that out. Nonetheless, that's not really, as far as football games go, that's not really a focus here. But I just saw that, and I saw a lot of people I was talking to. I know even in our Discord server, a lot of people were just more so focused on that. And again, rightfully so. There's nothing wrong with that. So definitely a good chance that maybe fans in attendance. I know some people were saying, there was fans in the crowd. They were very, very quiet and stuff. Does that play a role into it? I don't know. But again, nothing else really matters when something like that is happening anyways. Even though WWE and NFL technically aren't connected, I think I could speak for a lot of people. There was a lot of attention on that, and for the right reasons. So nonetheless, I thought, based on what I saw tonight from Raw, it was solid. Okay? There was a couple things that stood out to me that I would say were really good. And there were some things that I just kind of questioned. And when I say question it, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just like, is it filler or is it not, if that makes sense? We got a super chat from Albert Ponce. Albert says, Alexa and Bianca was a great match and Raw started off great. Chad vs. Dexter was a useless filler. And Elias is continuing to go down the roster card. Sad. Well, Albert, thank you for your $5 super chat first and foremost. Alexa and Bianca, absolutely awesome. I understand some people don't care for the shenanigans in WWE or in wrestling in general. But I will say, as a fan of Bray Wyatt and Alexa Bliss and everything that they're doing there, I personally believe that the Alexa Bliss shenanigans is great. And I think it's going to end up leading to a reveal at Royal Rumble. Whatever her new character is or whatever is going on, there's going to be something good to come out of that. And again, this is what happens when you're telling stories on a week-to-week basis. This is what happens when you're staying consistent with your storytelling. I said it before. I said Triple H does one thing good, and that is he has a plan. And he says, in order for me to get right here, we got to go like this, step by step and step. And each week there's more and more that's being done to progress that storyline. I like that shit. And I understand that a lot of people might not agree with me. I know you guys sometimes might just want good wrestling matches. You don't really care about the small details. For me, I think small details matter. It gets me more intrigued to see what's going to happen next. That's what makes WWE very compelling these days. So Alexa and Bianca was a really good way to continue furthering the Alexa Bliss stuff. But then again, earlier I did say there's a couple things that make me kind of scratch my head or make me question what is going on. Bianca holds the championship belt. And to see Alexa Bliss and these shenanigans, as much as I love it, I do question why this is happening in a championship match. Because ultimately, the championship should be the biggest prize. Now, obviously, WWE's goal here is to get this heel turn and everything completed for Alexa Bliss. That's the character development portion of it all. And I admire that, and I appreciate that they're committed to telling the story there. But at the same time, too, when you hold a championship belt, it's got to be valuable. And that's how I feel. That's just personally how I feel about it. With that being said, I also want to point out the Bloodline just interrupting the Raw intro was awesome. I love when Triple H first took over Raw. That was something that we noticed right away was the interruptions of the WWE Raw intro. The Bloodline taking over has been executed very well. I still stand by this. The Bloodline is the greatest storyline in 2 years. There's nothing better. There's not something better in WWE television. There's nothing better in AEW television. There's nothing better in Impact Wrestling television. Right now, the best storyline in all of wrestling is the Bloodline. And I'm okay with saying that. I understand some people will disagree, and that's cool. I have no problem with people who disagree. I just think WWE is crafting some really good stuff there, and they're doing it on a week-to-week basis. The Bloodline taking over Raw has completely transcended the way I enjoy WWE Raw. Because for a while, they weren't on WWE Raw. They were just on SmackDown. Now we're seeing them on WWE Raw. Now we're seeing them mix it up with Street Profits. They're teasing something with Street Profits. Again, it's the small little details. If you're not paying attention, you miss it. That's your fault. But ultimately, that's like one of the cool things I love about WWE, especially tonight. Again, the small details matter. You can argue, and I will say this because Albert mentioned it in his super chat. He says Chad versus Dexter was useless filler. Again, I wasn't paying attention to that because of the whole football stuff going on. But he said Elias is continuing to go down the roster card. Sad. To address this, I look at Solo Sikoa, which, by the way, I thought Solo Sikoa and Elias have done a great job. That was fun. It was awesome to watch. I'm going to be pretty honest here. If Elias going down the card means Solo Sikoa continues to be booked properly, I have no issue with it. Elias doesn't need to be anything right now. He's a character first. And then when you want to push him later on, you could. But right now, he's got a job. He's doing his job well. Solo Sikoa continues to look dominant. He's the quiet guy in the group. He's the guy that truly means business. Sami Zayn, the Usos, things are a joke to them at times. That's why I think the ceiling is so incredibly high for Solo Sikoa. But in order for Solo Sikoa to be dominant, he has to take out legitimate competitors, and I thought that match was a good way to do so. And I thought it was booked very well for being a Music City street fight or whatever the hell they called it. Followed by that super chat, Albert Pons dropped another $5 super chat, so shout out to Albert for dropping $10. He says, so you randomly drop a Bronson Reed vignette after he returns and no other talent got one before or after the returns. Please make this make sense. Albert, this is a great point. Thank you again for the super chats. I think, and I'm not here to defend WWE, but I think WWE, if I had to imagine this, I think maybe WWE was in a situation, Triple H specifically could have been watching the reaction to Bronson Reed, and maybe he looked at the card for tonight and realized, hey, I don't have anything for him. Perhaps, just perhaps, maybe the vignette was something he learned from a previous mistake. Because he is the most recent return, too. You got to keep that in mind. He is the most recent return. Maybe Triple H and the company were like, hey, we've been doing some of these returns. People don't necessarily know who they are. They might not be as familiar with NXT or NXT Black and Gold. So we need to do something after they return. If that's the logic and thinking behind it, I'm okay with that. If WWE does that for most returns going forward, I'm okay with that. Now, granted, if it's Zack Ryder, Matt Cardona, you don't have to do that, obviously. But if it's like Chelsea Green or somebody who may not have had a main roster push, I think that would be the right way to go. Because if you do them before or after, that's okay. Because again, it's the one thing I've been saying on like my AEW reviews as well. Video packages and vignettes are such a good thing. It doesn't really matter when you have them. You just want it to lead to something, and you want to see them consistently. So I think it's a really good thing. But I do understand the position of, please make this make sense. I'm just trying to think with logic here. I could see them saying, hey, some of these returns, they happen. People aren't familiar with them. We got to keep them relevant. We got to teach our audience who they are. So now let's start doing this. And then obviously Bronson Reed's the most recent example. Keep in mind, some returns have happened too, like Karrion Kross, where he was on the main roster. He came back and then he got some dominant wins. And now he's on TV every week with the whole Rey Mysterio stuff, sitting in the crowd, that type of thing. And then obviously that right there is a good reason to keep to keep teaching your audience who he is, right? Karrion Kross doesn't have to wrestle every single week, but the fact he's on TV in some capacity every single week will start teaching the audience who he is. So for certain people it applies, the vignettes and stuff apply, and for some people it doesn't. But I could definitely agree. Obviously, again, I'm not trying to justify what WWE did. I'm glad they did a vignette for Bronson Reed. I hope they do that more often. Thank you again, Albert, for the $10 in super chats. We got another super chat from BolbyTP for $4.99. Do you think WWE has downgraded or upgraded since the early 2000s compared to now? This is a really good question. Thank you, BolbyTP, for the super chat. I appreciate it. I got some heat for this before, but I do remain pretty adamant on this. And this is just my opinion. I understand some people will disagree, but go back to the Attitude Era or Ruthless Aggression. There were some cool storylines and some cool things happening on TV. I also felt like at that time, though, there was some bad stuff on TV, too. I felt like, just like now, there's like a handful amount of people who got a push, and then the rest of the people were doing filler stuff. Right now, WWE, creatively, in my opinion, is on fire. Because, again, small details matter. When you look at the Hurt Business behind in the backstage environment with Adam Pearce, MVP, Lashley, Cedric, Omos, Shelton Benjamin. We don't know what the Hurt Business is going to look like, but we know there's teases. We know there's things being worked on it. Plus, if you subscribe to this channel on a daily basis, you know a couple months ago I spoke about the Hurt Business returning. I made this video right around the time that Triple H took over the WWE creative. So when I see these small things happening behind the scenes or in the backstage environment, I love it. I love that small details matter. I love the Easter eggs. So do I think WWE has upgraded or downgraded? I mean, I think there was great things about wrestling in the early 2000s. I think there's some great things about WWE modern day. For one, the women's division completely upgraded to based on what we're seeing now, right? The women's division back then, I think I was watching Royal Rumble 2000 where they did the Mae Young. You know, Mae Young won the bikini contest or whatever the hell it was. So my point that I'm making is like there's certain areas that are really, really good now where back then it wasn't. And then there were certain things back then that were really good. But it's also two different changes or two different time periods within society. And there's just a lot of things that have changed throughout time as well. So certain things that they did back then would never work today's environment with fans. And there's things that WWE did, you know, now that could have worked back then, but they didn't apply it. So I think it's really hard to answer that question, but I do think I'm very happy with WWE right now. I'm not asking for my show to be a slam dunk or a home run or a grand slam. I'm intrigued by storylines. I'm intrigued by the small details and the logic of storytelling. And then, of course, you sprinkle in some good wrestling matches. I like that. And I feel like WWE right now, since Triple H has taken over, there has not been a more consistent WWE. It's been too many years since WWE's been this consistent. Okay. That's how I feel. So yeah, hopefully I answered your question. Bolby TP, thank you so much for the $4.99. We got another super chat from Justin Kennington for $5. Justin says, is the Royal Rumbles this year going to be 40 people or 30? And who would you fantasy book for Edge to face at Mania this year? Happy New Year, Ango. Justin, thank you. Thank you for the super chat. So there is no confirmation that it's going to be a 40-man Rumble or a 30-man Rumble or woman, you know. The rumors suggest that it's probably going to be... The rumors suggest it's probably going to be 40 people in each Rumble, which I like that idea. I like the 40-man Rumbles more. I like the idea of even doing a 50-man Rumble. I think the more, the better. If I was Triple H, I would do 50. Maybe aggressive, maybe an astronomical number to some people. But you have so many great talent in NXT, so many great talent in WWE, Raw, and SmackDown. I think increasing it is great. I think one of the biggest things I really, really want Triple H to do with the Rumble this year, have storylines, right? And I think we will, but like have storylines be part of the eliminations, right? So, for example, just as an example, a couple years ago, Keith Lee went in the Rumble against Brock Lesnar, eventually gets thrown out, right? Imagine, for example, if Brock Lesnar was in the Rumble, you had Braun Breaker go into the Rumble. And they basically mimic the whole thing with Brock and Keith Lee, but now with Braun Breaker and Brock, right? Again, stick with me. This is hypothetical. But if I was WWE, I would want storylines to come out of this. So I'm just saying, ideally, it would be really cool. What if Braun Breaker eliminated Brock Lesnar? Then you can use that to set up a match for WrestleMania. Something like that, I think, would be really cool, in my opinion. And it doesn't have to be those two individuals. I'm just saying hypothetically. But like having eliminations means something to the point where you can use it to set up storylines, whether it's for Elimination Chamber or for WrestleMania, whatever it may be. I don't want, the big thing that people get out of the Royal Rumble is somebody's going to win and challenge for the world title. And that's totally fine. Like, that's totally cool. But I think if you can do more with it, it just makes the road to WrestleMania much more intriguing. And I think Triple H will do that, honestly, which I'm excited about personally. I think that's going to be a really cool thing. Second part of the Super Chat, the question is, who would you fantasy book for Edge to face at Mania this year? Justin, this is a great question. I think Finn Balor has to be the guy, right? Because of storytelling, right? It's not like WWE is steering away from that. There's clearly a direction that WWE was going with Edge and Beth Phoenix, and now they're selling it. I think Elimination Chamber, we see Edge and Beth Phoenix versus Rhea Ripley and Finn Balor, or Damian Priest. And then I think we see Demon Balor versus the Brood Edge at WrestleMania. And I think that's probably the move. I think that would be the right decision. And I said it in a video maybe a couple weeks ago or so, but I basically said, hey, like, there might be some really cool ideas with having Finn Balor leave the Judgment Day, because there's always been this plan that Demon Balor is going to get back on track, right? They're going to try and make Demon Balor strong enough again. By doing that, you have to book him strongly, but then you eventually got to get him away from the Judgment Day. So I can see a very interesting scenario where Edge versus Finn Balor is a singles match at WrestleMania. Finn Balor actually loses at WrestleMania. And that basically ends Finn Balor's role with the Judgment Day. And I would be okay with that. Normally, I would not want the older wrestler, the veteran, to win, but I would rather have Edge beat Finn Balor if this means Finn Balor could get away from the Judgment Day and go on to have a really strong singles career. People forget that a lot of talent in WWE right now came from NXT when Triple H booked them, and that's the good thing. I do feel like there's a lot of potential there. So, personally speaking, that's what I would do. You can also do Edge versus Dominic Mysterio if you want. I don't know if they'll do that. Depends when Rey Mysterio plans on retiring, because when Rey wants to retire, his last match will be Dominic. Dom Mysterio had a really good showcase tonight on Raw. He got a face tat. Dude went to jail because of the New Year's Eve thing. So now Dominic Mysterio has a face tat. And you got to think too, right? Like him getting the face tat, him doing these backstage things, like it's actually good stuff, bro. Like it's logical. It makes sense. It's funny, but we're seeing this kid develop, man. And I'd rather get this version of Dominic Mysterio any day of the week compared to the 2019-2020 version of Dominic Mysterio we got when he was tag teaming with his dad against Seth Rollins and AOP. If you guys remember what I'm talking about, then you know that was a bad freaking time. Dominic Mysterio was not good at that time. We've seen him improve. We've seen some cool stuff with him now these days. And, if you really, really want to keep the Judgment Day stuff going, you can always have Dominic Mysterio and, You could have Dominic Mysterio and Damian Priest tag team for a little bit. I mean, you could do a lot of stuff. You don't need Finn Balor in that group. Thank you, Justin, for the $5 super chat. I appreciate it, brother. Guys, if you want to drop some super chats, get those in there now. And if you haven't clicked that like button, please do me a favor and click that like button. I would genuinely greatly appreciate it. Seriously. This year, you guys are going to see a huge elevation in the quality of my content. Did you guys watch my video today? I'm going to be spending a lot more time editing my videos, making them a little bit more enjoyable to watch. I'm going to keep doing my live streams and keep interacting with you guys. We're going to be doing some new perks on the channel. Some stuff, obviously, with Discord is changing a little bit. But it's going to be a big year for 2023. So if you guys support the channel, just know that it's greatly appreciated. And thank you, everybody who has supported the channel thus far. I really do appreciate it. And if you're not subscribed, please freaking subscribe. Guys, like, we're super close to 50,000 subscribers. Please help me fucking hit 50,000 subscribers, all right? All right, 50,000. Then when I hit 100,000 subscribers, I don't know, maybe I'll like buzz my head bald or something. I'll do something ridiculous for 100K subscribers. We'll figure it out. Oh, we got another super chat from Justin Kennington for $5. He says, it might be just me, but Dom is doing the Latino heat gimmick right now, and Mommy and AKA Rhea is his version of China. Look, I love it. Personally speaking, I love it. I think they're doing a really good job with it. And the best part, too, about this, Justin, is that Rhea Ripley is probably going to get a really, really big push as women's champion. So, ideally, Dominic Mysterio benefits from it. I love it. I think it's enjoyable to watch. I think they're a great duo. And it just feels like Dominic Mysterio has become super confident in the way that he's presenting himself on TV. And that is something I feel like for a while we didn't see that from him. So the good news is we're seeing that from him. And the Latino heat gimmick, I was joking about it. I don't know if you guys know who Brandon Does Everything is. I'm sure you do. He's one of the largest gaming channels on YouTube for WWE. That guy's the man. I love Brandon. He posted a tweet of Dominic Mysterio with the face tattoo or whatever, and I responded back with a little kid, driving the little, hydraulic toy car. Just saying, you can do a really, really special entrance for Dominic Mysterio now that he's a heel, and that's going to be really, really cool. So I'm excited about that. Thank you again, Justin, for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you, brother. A lot of people in the chat showing some love. Edgar Treviso says, you should be a WWE story writer. Twisted Morcus says, yeah, that is true. Let's see. Hold on. Chat is moving really quickly. Yep, that is true. He definitely has improved. Triple H will recruit Ango. If Triple H wants to sign me to WWE, I would absolutely join WWE. I would absolutely join Impact or AEW. I've been very, very adamant that one day I would like to work for a wrestling company in any capacity. I've always been adamant about that. That's like, there's two goals I have: hit 100,000 subscribers and work for a wrestling company. So I appreciate the fact that you guys think that. Maybe you guys could tweet at Triple H. Maybe you guys, I don't know, share my videos. Honestly, that's the best thing that can happen. Share my videos, share my clips, put them on TikTok, put them on Instagram. If you guys like my takes or my ideas, throw them out there on the internet. The more and more people that see it, who knows? Maybe something happens. I don't know. But I appreciate the love, guys. Thank you. Shout out to Denisha Lane, by the way, just hitting the 3-month milestone as a member on the channel. Shout out to you. Shout out to you, Denisha. I appreciate it greatly. Justin Kennington, by the way, is the new Super Chat champion. So congratulations to Justin Kennington. Everybody give him a round of applause. Clapping emojis in the chat, please. One time for our good friend Justin Kennington, the Super Chat champion. Oh, I'm not done clapping either. I think it's Michael Ryan. The only bad thing is, don't take this as a slap in the face, but you are so left-wing towards WWE, it wouldn't work, AEW. No, actually, here's the thing. If you watch my videos, by the way, if you watch my video from AEW's live stream last week. A lot of cool things happened on that live stream. I praised AEW. I don't have a bias towards wrestling companies because, to be honest with you guys, I know a lot of people say this, bias this, bias that, but you choose to look at from your point of view. You know what I mean? People do forget. For some reason, people do forget that I hated WWE for so long. It is what it is. You can't do anything. I'm not here to change your mind. If you think I'm biased, that's cool. I just hope they pay me for it at least. That's all I could say about that, because literally I've been in a situation where I have been doing YouTube forever. You can go back far enough. I say this all the time. You could go back far enough to see when I hated WWE and loved AEW. But the cool thing is, and this is the cool thing, and this is why I'm willing to debate anybody on this, you know, I have been doing YouTube. I have been doing YouTube long enough to talk poorly about WWE and highly about WWE. Same thing with AEW and Impact. I've been doing this shit for like 10 plus years, right? And what I've really learned, and my goal has always been the same, I'm not here to persuade you or make you think differently. Yeah, I would never want to make you think differently, because then you could live a life like some of the people that I see in my comments, where literally they just jump in the comments to, like, I don't know, probably to feel some sort of fulfillment in their life, because, you know, if I'm really upset in my life, I'd rather just go click on Ango's videos and talk shit to him. I don't know. But nonetheless, I think that's the best part about doing YouTube is I say what I want. I do what I want. I'm not paid by Tony Khan. You know how I'm not paid by Tony Khan? You know how I'm not paid by WWE? Because I'm not one of those guys in those media scrums asking dumbass questions. That's actually a really good point, too, that I would like to bring up, just so you guys know. If I was paid off or if I was biased, I would be at media scrums asking softball questions. You know, I would ask softball questions like the rest of the people there. Because if you ever go into these media scrums, a lot of questions don't get asked. And I don't know, I feel like there's a lot of intelligent people in those rooms, but they don't ask the important questions. So it is what it is. But that's why I'm not biased, because I don't really give a shit. I don't get invited to those things. It'd be cool. I think I can offer a really nice taste of, you know, legitimate questions and a legitimate amount of content. But I don't wake up every day. See, that's the cool thing, too. I don't wake up every day with the hope that, like, some of you will I'll finally gain some of your respect, or gain the respect of, like, Tony Khan or Triple H or whatever. Like, I literally just make content talking about my thoughts and opinions on wrestling. You can agree, you could disagree. It's cool. That's the beauty of what I fucking do, bro. Literally. Like, the beauty is, like, I literally wake up every single day just being happy to talk about wrestling. And I'm not trying to impress anybody with my opinions. I don't say anything in hopes of getting rewarded or whatever. I just say what I think. Some people think I'm creative enough for a job in the companies. Great. If not, no big deal, man. Ango Media, baby. It's the best company in the world. We got a couple more super chats. Shout out to Rashad Maban. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. Do you think Randy and Riddle return for the Rumble? I don't think Randy does because of injury. There's talks of Randy potentially missing WrestleMania this year. There's just a lot of confusion with his health situation. Nobody really knows what's going to happen with him. As far as Riddle goes, I don't think so. I'm not saying it's impossible, but with him going, with him and his whole rehab or whatever is actually happening there, there's just never been any sort of update. I don't know. Like, there's no expectations for a return, if that makes sense. And I'm okay with Riddle being taken off TV for a little bit. Shout out to Rashad for the $1.99 super chat. Appreciate ya. We got another $5 super chat from Albert Ponce. With Finn out, do you bring in another leader to the group or keep Rhea with Dom and Priest alone? I think you keep it with them three. You could add somebody else if you'd like, but you don't have to. You know what I mean? I personally speaking, I think that group is so good with or without Finn. I think that group is good with or without Dom, with or without Rhea. The group has improved so much since originally starting that, like, I just genuinely feel like it's going to be a great thing for WWE regardless. But if Finn does leave the group, I think you just keep it them three. It's perfect. Rhea Ripley could win the Women's Championship. Dominic Mysterio and Damian Priest can win tag team championship belts. They can do whatever. I mean, the idea that Raw tag team belts and SmackDown tag team belts will be separated again, it can work. But you don't have to do that either, if that makes sense. Albert dropped another super chat for $2. Also, will call-ins return? I like our chats. Yeah, I think we're going to do call-ins to a certain aspect. I don't want to make promises right now. My big thing right now is just focusing on streaming and being consistent with my streaming. Which I think really... I think for you guys, man, like, you guys should let me know, like, when is the best time to stream? Because I would like to do live streams during the day too, plus nightly live streams. I'm just really, really trying to be consistent with it. You know, last year we had a ton of live viewers and tons of likes and tons of super chats and tons of everything. And then obviously I took a break from live streaming, and we still do a really good job with all that stuff. Like, statistics and analytics wise, like, I'm super excited about like what we've built here. I like seeing the same names in the chat every single day. So now it's just like, I just want to be able to live stream with you guys consistently, regardless of what the analytics are, regardless of what the super chats are, regardless of the amount of likes there are, you know, all that stuff is great, but I just want to do this on a consistent level and hopefully try to get thousands and thousands of live viewers. Which I know, you know, during pay-per-view live streams last year when we did them, we got way more live viewers, which was always great, but that would kind of be the end goal. So whether that means streaming live at night or during the day, you guys should tell me what you guys like the most. And, yeah, we'll see what comes out of it, obviously. But thank you, Albert, for the super chat. Appreciate you. It looks like you actually passed Justin Kennington for Super Chat Champion. So congratulations. We have a new Super Chat Champion. I got to get that soundboard so I could just add sound effects for like reactions and shit. That would be really cool. At some point, we'll probably do something like that. I don't know. Again, the point of these live streams are to be casual. You know what I mean? They're really supposed to be casual and fun and just, you know, random. I like doing live streams without structure, because I feel like when I was doing live streams with structure, I felt like everything just seemed so forced and like not organic. So I pulled back a little bit, just a little bit, but nonetheless, it's still pretty cool. Why don't you try and get gigs calling matches? I don't know if I'd want to be a commentator. I don't know. I feel very, very, very weird about doing commentating, because my passion has always been to talk about wrestling. I've never called a wrestling match. I feel like I'd be okay, but I've never been personality driven. I've always been more on like the analytical and technical side. So like when you get a couple haters and they just, this is the best part actually about YouTube. You get a couple haters and they're just like mad at you because you just don't agree with them. But the cool thing is, like, whether it's good or bad, I've always had some sort of point to back up what I'm saying. So I've always wanted to do like WWE The Bump. Impact does like being before the Impact. I would love to. I personally would love to, you know, do something like that, or like roundtable discussion, WWE Network type stuff, Peacock. You know, that's a manifestation, man. I want to manifest it for this year. Like, I would love to be featured on like a documentary or some sort of segment with WWE this year. I don't know, or AEW for that matter. I mean, it doesn't matter. There's a lot of cool stuff I want to do in wrestling, so I appreciate you guys showing the love. But we'll see what happens, man. I think as we grow the audience and the viewership, I think then things could eventually happen. But I've always remained true that I won't have a bias. So, like, that's just the reality. I refuse to only talk good about WWE just in hopes of getting a job there, or AEW. You know, that's just kind of how I see it, though. You and RJ City would be a cool duo. Yeah, RJ City's he's a cool guy. I like him. He's funny. Hey EW is actually a really cool thing. I remember when I seen the first episode of that show, by the way, I was just like, yo, this thing sucks. And then I watched, like, after 2 minutes, I was like, nah, RJ City is doing freaking amazing with this talk show. Yeah. Hey, if RJ City wants to work with me, I'm down for it. I got no problem with that. No commentary. You're annoying. Fudge cakes. Wow. I really hope that I can really get a commentary job. Now I want it because I'm annoying. That'd be cool, right? Like, just remember, like, if somebody thought I was annoying, I'd probably just try to annoy you more, honestly. Suplex, F5, F5. Oh my God, he fucking kicked out. Holy fucking shit, bullshit. Oh my God. Yeah. If I'm annoying, dude, you would love me on commentary then. How old am I? Ugh. How old am I? I don't know. 10? Justin Kennington dropped a $5 super chat. Shout out to Justin. Is he taking over the super chat championship now? He is. Round of applause for Justin Kennington. $5 bomb. You want Gunther versus Lesnar or a 6-man ladder match for the IC title? So I want the U.S. championship to actually be a multi-man championship belt. Multi-man championship match. I want the IC title to be between Gunther and Lesnar. However, I got to be honest with you. I would really, really love, personally speaking, I would really, really love Gunther versus Lesnar. I would be totally okay with Sheamus winning the IC title from Gunther as well. I'm okay with both of those. I think a 6-man ladder match or like a multi-man match needs to be for the U.S. championship. I think that would be more ideal. So, personally speaking, I think Gunther versus Lesnar doesn't even need the championship. If you really want, what you can do is have Sheamus defeat Gunther for the belt at Elimination Chamber. Yeah, do that at Elimination Chamber, or you could do a multi-man match at WrestleMania. That's cool. So, doesn't really matter. We're going to take a quick commercial break. I'll be right back. All right, we're back from a quick commercial break. I just had to sneeze a couple times. Let's take a look. Oh, by the way, shout out to Justin again for the super chat. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. Let me fix this because that looks a little too big. Okay, hopefully I fixed that. I think I fixed that. I didn't realize on the screen the text was like dragging out or whatever, but nonetheless. Shout out to Negla K. Thank you for stopping by. What's up, Denisha? Shout out to all the members pulling through. Guys, if you're not a member on this channel, definitely check it out. There's a couple tiers. It's definitely appreciated. NC State guy, what's up? Sasha Banks to AEW Wednesday night for mystery partner Soraya's partner. It won't be this Wednesday. It would be the following Wednesday in Los Angeles. That match is taking place not this week, but the following week. Now, keep in mind, AEW will have new presentation for this week. It's a new era for AEW. I said the last 2 weeks of AEW were pretty strong television. If they keep doing what they did the last 2 weeks, AEW will have a good 2023. If they don't do that, they're going to be a garbage ass company. Simple as that. So I hope they do what they did the last 2 weeks. They've been really, really good. And I'm super excited about that. What's up, Shahid? Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you. Guys, we have a few minutes left on the show. What you guys want to talk about? Talk to me. Let's go off in the chat. Let's have a little conversation before I get off for the night. Okay, let's see. Are you excited about Will versus Omega? Yeah. How can you not be excited for that? Should be a fun match. I wish it was taking place on AEW. I wish I didn't have to stay up until, like, what is it, 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning Eastern time? So I'll have to stay up pretty late for it. Do you guys want me to do a live stream for Wrestle Kingdom? That could be something we potentially do. I don't know if you talked about it. Seth might be injured. Seth was just selling very well in the match. There's been nothing that's come out about him actually being injured. If he is actually injured, then obviously I'll update you guys in a video. But right now, obviously right now there's nothing out there. So, what's up, Manny? Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you. Latino Heat 2.0 needs to happen. Dom should beat Ray for the mask, burn it, and then come out and debut Dominic Guerrero, Latino Heat. No. Michael, I don't hate your idea, but the original plans for Prince Mysterio are just a little bit better than that. I wish it was on an AEW pay-per-view with more story. Sure, but obviously New Japan runs their whole business different from everybody else, so. Denisha's birthday will be at midnight. Happy birthday, Denisha. What is the match you want most for Mania than Ramen? For Ramen. I just called Roman Reigns Ramen Reigns. What is the match you want most for Mania than Roman versus Rock? So, but aside from Roman versus Rock, I would rather see Roman versus Cody. I've been a huge proponent of that for like the entire year. I'd be okay with Roman versus Seth, Roman versus Cody, Roman versus Lashley, Roman versus Karrion Kross, Roman versus I think those are really it that I could think of. But who knows? We'll see what happens at Royal Rumble. I think Royal Rumble is going to be very telling. I think tonight WWE having the Cody Rhodes vignette was a really good sign that Cody Rhodes will be returning very soon. So that does excite me, obviously. Jay White needs to win. Okada doesn't need the title, but we know how the show will end. We'll see what happens. I really don't know, honestly. I genuinely don't know. That's going to be the interesting thing. Rate Monday Night Raw 1 to 10. Farhan, great question. I would give it a 7.5. But keep in mind, I didn't watch the full thing. I didn't watch the full thing because, again, during the Monday Night Football game, I've been really preoccupied with what was going on with Damar Hamlin, so I was not watching. There was a couple things I missed. I wasn't paying 100% to the six-man tag match. I didn't really watch Dexter versus Chad Gable and what was going on with Damage Control and Michin and Becky Lynch. I missed out on a couple things. I missed out on those things because I was paying attention to what was going down with Monday Night Football. But based on what I saw, I would say 7.58 is really good. It was a really, really solid show from what I saw. So, if anybody wants to get in the last second super chat, go ahead and do so now before we get off the stream. We'll call it a night. Obviously, I'll be back on tomorrow night for NXT. And that should be really fun too. NXT's got a very loaded show tomorrow. NXT is loaded tomorrow, and there's talks of Dragon Lee possibly debuting tomorrow or New Year's Evil. So, yeah, I'm excited about it. I think I can't wait for NXT to see what happens with Grayson Waller. I think he wins the belt. So hopefully that's the route they go. Okay. Well, with that being said, I think we'll call it a night. I appreciate everybody stopping by. Tomorrow's video is a banger. It's almost being done, edited. Stay tuned to the channel, guys. Roughly 11 p.m. Eastern. Big stuff happening on the channel this year. I hope you all enjoy it. Thank you guys for stopping by. Shout out to everybody who dropped super chats today. Shout out to everybody who liked today's stream. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night. Happy New Year. Let's have a badass year, baby. I'll see you guys next time. Good night.